I am sure you've seen these Valorant e-daters all over Valorant. You join a lobby and you see a stage with the name, his stage, and then you see the other Jet player, her Jet. I mean, these guys are pretty much everywhere. Matter of fact, I actually quite often joke that Valorant feels more like a matchmaking service similar to Tinder than an actual video game platform at times, because the amount of people that I've seen start relationships because they met on Valorant, because they created that bond within the game, is actually ridiculous. And my personal theory is that because people tend to bond over the game, because the games are long and there's voice communication and you can also have your own chat system, I think the game is quite mainstream and the gender spread within the game is a lot more even, or a lot closer to 50-50 than compared to other games where it's kind of just a sausage fest. Well, today's news are actually very grim because one of these Valorant relationships ended up tragically. I mean, reading the title of the article is "Flirting in Valorant leads to sister stabbing younger sibling to death." Now, here's the crazy part, is that this actually happened in Orlando, which is not that far from where I live. So it's actually very scary because it makes me feel like, wow, maybe I played with these people at some point, or you know what I mean? It's just, it's different when you read some news and it's a million miles away, but this is kind of a little bit close to home because I live in Florida. So essentially what happened is that the 21-year-old woman had a relationship over the game with this long-term boyfriend of 5 years. And that is when the woman, Fatiha Marzan, decided to buy a knife set off of Amazon, which is actually terrifying, but very fitting for this generation where I feel like people are able to buy potential murder weapons off of the internet. They could just buy them to the convenience of their doorstep. Before, you will have to go into the store and do all that, but now you can just, you know, type in whatever and essentially buy whatever you want. So basically she got the murder weapon off of Amazon. Now here's where it gets a little chilling, right? So a lot of times when you see these crimes of passion, which is what they call them, somebody cheated on somebody, something crazy happened, and then in the heat of the moment somebody decided to, you know, use a weapon and ended up being deadly, and then somebody dies, right? It actually has a name called crime of passion. However, this is actually more frightening because this was premeditated, meaning that for a long period of time she was actually planning. Reportedly, she had been plotting the murder of her sister for over 2 weeks after witnessing that she was flirting with her boyfriend. That's a very long time to decide to murder somebody, which lands the crime in the category of first-degree murder, which is premeditated. It was planned. It was on purpose. It was not an accident. It was cold-blooded murder, essentially. And apparently what ended up triggering the situation was that they declared their love to each other, and that's when everything fell apart. So once the family was sleeping, she decided to go and stab her sister in the heart, and that's pretty much how it went down. Apparently, it's also reported that she called the police herself 15 hours after the incident. So, you know, it's not one of those scenarios where she did it, regretted it, and then, you know, called the police, and then maybe they had a chance to save her. She just let her die. She purposely called the authorities later because she wanted her to die, and then she was pronounced dead soon after the authorities arrived, a long period of time after the attack. Apparently, they did have a conversation where she let her sister know that she should back away from the boyfriend, but apparently she did not care. She did not respect her feelings on the affair, and that's pretty much when she decided she needed to take the most drastic of approaches to finishing the situation. The issue, though, is that I feel like you truly never know who you're really interacting with. I love to compare this to a driving example, right? So I'm sure you guys have encountered a road rage scenario on the road while driving, and the issue with that is that sometimes you'll have people do stupid things while driving, and then you'll feel like confronting them, you know, beeping the horn, you know, kind of maybe you think about getting off the car, flipping somebody off and all that. But you truly never know who you're really messing with. And some of these individuals are ready to ruin their life to solve a meaningless dispute. I mean, somebody gets cut off on the road, and then before you realize, they pull out a weapon, and then suddenly you're fighting for your life over nothing, truly, right? Some of these people are not afraid to die or kill at the slightest of provocations, right? And the issue is that you never really know who is on their last straw, on the very, very last straw that, you know, whatever sets them off is just going to happen, right? Which makes it scary because, you know, when you're playing these online games, you never really know who you're talking to. Some of these people can be actually insane. It does make it uncomfortable, you know, that somebody that was playing these kind of games, you know, went that far. I also feel like Valorant has given a lot of young people their first taste of love. And the thing is, though, you know, first loves are famous for being the ones that break your heart, and tragedy happens, you know, and it's one of those things where you kind of just learn the ropes from that first truly relationship, right? Obviously, it's not Valorant's fault that, you know, stuff like this happens, because you can have people have the exact same scenario and they would have just, you know, just taken the bad scenario and dealt with it in a more mature way, not in this insane deranged way. The fact of the matter is that you never truly know who you're interacting with, and when you are playing these online games, you should be mindful of who you're playing with, but especially who you're meeting up with in person, who you are truly getting in bed with, you know, and you should you should, you should be careful out there. You should be able to really take your time getting to know somebody. And while this happened within the family, which makes it even worse, I just feel like it's always good to be cautious these days, because even if you know how to fight, even if you carry a weapon, you truly never know who's just ready to just go crazy. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys around in another news or video.